Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss a program based on prime numbers. So prime numbers are the numbers which are having only two factors. This is the code for prime number. First we will discuss what is the internal logic for this. So if I'm saying a number which are divisible by 1 and a number itself, that number only called a prime number. For example, I will take a number 7. How you will prove that 7 is a prime number? What we will do in this case, we will start dividing this number from 1 to number itself. It means first I will divide it by 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. First I will divide it by 7 mod 1 equal to 0. Then 7 mod 2 equal to 0. 7 mod 3 equal to 0. 7 mod 4 equal to 0. 7 mod 5 equal to 0. 7 mod 6 equal to 0. 7 mod 7 equal to 0. So you can see that for this I need a loop. So number I have accepted in this variable. This is the input for my number. Now I have declared two variables. C I have declared to store the count of factors. Here I is my loop variable. So I have started this loop, this for loop. So you can see that I have started this loop from 1. Why I have started from 1? Because I want to start the division from 1 to number itself. Whatever the possible value are there within this range, I will divide this number by all the values. So first n mod I value at the beginning, I will be 1. So when condition will be checked, 1 mod 7 equal 1 mod 1 less than 7, this condition will be true. If it is true, it will come inside the loop. Inside the loop, what I have written, this is the condition to check the divisibility. This is the condition to check the divisibility. Now n mod I, my I value is 1, n is 7. So n mod I means 7 mod 1. So 7 mod 1 equal to 0, condition true. If it is true, C will be updated. Till now under C what I have stored? I have stored a 0. So when C++ will be evaluated, it will become now 1. Now from here again control will go in I++ increment section. Now I will become now 2. Now again it will come back over here. Again condition will be checked, 2 less than 7. Again it is true. If it is true, again this divisibility condition will be evaluated. Now n mod 2 equal to 0, condition will be false. Why it is false? Because 7 is not completely divisible by 2. So if it is false, this part will not be evaluated. It means C will not be updated. C will remains 1. Now next time I value will be 3. 3 mod 7. Now you can see that with 3, 4, 5, 6, with all these 4 value, 7 is not divisible. So every time this condition will give a false. And up to from 1 to 6, this condition will return true only once when I value will be 1. So next time when I will be 7, how this condition will be evaluated? 7 mod 7 equal to 0, condition true. If condition will be true, C will be updated, C will become now 2. Next time again it will update the I value. I will become now 8. Now condition will be checked. This condition will be false. If it will be false, loop will terminate. So outside the loop, I have written one statement: if C equal to 0. So here what C is storing? C is storing the count of factors. Now for n is equal to 7, what is the count of factor? 2. So this condition will be checked. 2 equal to 2, condition true. If this condition will be true, first statement will be executed. So what will print? Prime number. And for example, if C will not be 2, then in that case it will come in the else part. So in else part, what it will print? Not a prime number. For example, at the place of 7, if I will consider a number 6. Now you can see that for a 6, 1 is also its factor, 2 is also its factor, 3 is also its factor, and 6 itself also its a factor. So for n is equal to 6, this part will execute how many times? 4 times. So C value will be 4. So how this condition will be checked? 4 equal to 2, this will be false. So for n is equal to 6, what will be printed? Not a prime number. So this is the overall logic for prime number, and it is very important for the board examination point of view, and it is very easy. Just look at this for loop. This is very important condition. Many of the students say writing I mod n, but which is wrong. So here what will come? N mod I, and this is the count variable. Its value must be initialized with 0 at the beginning. So like this you will write the code for this prime number program. I hope all of you will understand this logic. Any doubt you can ask later also. So next program we will start perfect number. So program will be write a Java program to accept a number from the user and check whether it is perfect number or not. A number is said to be perfect if sum of its factors excluding the number itself is equal to number. So that is called a perfect number. Example, if I will take a number 6, what are its factors? Its factors are 1, 2, 3 and 6. But according to the definition of perfect number, sum of factor excluding the number. So we will not take this number itself. Remaining factor we will add 1 plus 2 plus 3. So it will be equal to 6. So if the number of factor excluding the number will be equal to the number itself, it means this number is a perfect number. Now we will prove it with the help of this Java code. So you can see that class I have declared. You can declare it as perfect or any other class name. Now main method I have written as it is. Scanner class object I have created. This is just a message. Now in n I'm just taking the input for a number. Means whatever the number I just want to check for perfect, I will store it in a n variable with the help of a user. And these are the two variables I have declared. S equal to 0. S will store the sum of factors, and I is a loop variable. So here I am starting from a 1, and if you will see this Here I have not written I less than equal to n. I have written I less than n. Why? Because we want to exclude the number. So then I will write here equal to, then it will be wrong. Wrong in the sense means if you are writing equal to over here, then here you need to write something extra. So better you can go for n less than I less than n. Now number I have entered, suppose 6. This loop will starts from a 1. This condition will be checked now. 1 less than 6, condition true. If it is true, it will come inside the loop. Inside the loop, in the if condition, what I have written? N mod I. My n value is 6, I value is 1. So 6 mod 1 equal to 0, condition true. If it is true, S will be evaluated. So what will be the value of S? At the beginning it will be 0. So S is equal to S plus I. So S is equal to 0 plus I value is 1. So what will be stored under S now? 1. After this, control will be shifted to the increment section. Now I will be 2. Now again condition will be checked. 2 less than 6, condition true. Now 6 mod 2 equal to 0. Again it is true. So if it is true again, then this condition will true, this part will execute. If this condition is false, it will not execute. Now S equal to, S value already 1. 1 plus I value is 2. So 1 plus 2, which is equal to 3. So what will be the value of S in the second iteration? 3. Next time again I will be updated. I will become now 3. Now 3 less than 6, condition true. Now 6 mod 3 equal to 0, condition true. Now S equal to, previous value of S is 3. 3 plus current value of I is 3. So 3 plus 3 equal to 6. So S value will be 6 in the third iteration. Now again I will be updated. I will be 4. Now 4 less than 6, condition true. Now 6 mod 4 equal to 0, condition false. Very important step it is. So when this condition will be false, this part will not execute. This part will not execute. So what will happen? From here directly control will come out of this if block. So from if block it will go to the I++ section. So now directly when this condition will be false, directly what will happen? I will be incremented. So I will become now 5. Now 5 less than 6, condition true. 6 mod 5 equal to 0, condition false. If this condition is false, again same process will be repeated. This S is equal to S plus I will not be evaluated till now. Now again I will be updated. I will become now 6. Now 6 less than 6, condition false. Now you will get false over here. When condition will be false in loop, loop will terminate. It means control will come out of this bracket. So when it will come out of this bracket, what will be the value of S? 6. And under N we have already stored what? 6 with the help of input. Now this condition will be evaluated if S equal to N. S value is 6. It means if 6 equal to N value is also 6. So this double equal to will check the equality. If both the value are equal, it will give a true. If any of the value will differ, it will give a false. So now both are same. This will give a true. So if it is true, what will be printed? System.out.println perfect number. So what will be the output for n is equal to 6, perfect number, which is correct. As I already told, this is the logic to prove 6 as a perfect number. So for example, I will enter any other number 8. What are the factors of 8? 1 is the factor, 2 is the factor, 4 is also a factor of 8. We will not include 8. So addition of all these factors will be 7. Now which is 7 not equal to 8. So we can say that 8 is not a perfect number. So this is the overall logic for the perfect number. I hope all of you will understand this. Any doubt, please let me know. Now the third program we will do. In this program we will accept two different values from the user and we will print all the prime number within that range. For example, starting value or first value I will enter 5 and second value I will enter 15. So from 5 to 15, what are the prime numbers are there, that will be printed as a output. So just for example purpose, what are the prime number within this range? 5 is there, 7, 11 and 13. All these four are the prime number within this range of 5 to 15. So how you will do this program? Class I have declared with the name range prime, range underscore prime. Main method I have written, scanner class I have created. Now first message is system.out.println enter starting range. So here starting range I will store in a variable SV. Now second enter ending range, that I will store in variable EV, ending value. Now these are the two variables that we required in the further code. That's why I have declared C is equal to 0, I and J. So now how you will configure here? Actually this program is based on nested loop. Nested loop means we will use one loop within the another loop. Very important program it is also. So here first loop, how we will configure? I is equal to SB. SB means from where we will start the value. So starting value stored under SB variable. So I have written I is equal to SB because till now we were writing I is equal to 1 or I is equal to 0. But here starting value already entered by the user. So we will not write 0 and 1. We will write that variable name over here. And I less than equal to ending value. Ending value also stored in which variable? EV variable. Now this is the first loop. This is my outer loop. Now starting off outer loop, this is my inner loop. Inner loop. Now in the inner loop, now I will check whether this value of I is a prime number or a not. So for prime number, this is the loop. If you will see this code you have already done in the first program. That same code I have copied over here within one extra loop. So that whole code representing this inner loop. So you can see there I was using I, but here I am just using J. So J equal to 1, J less than equal to I and J plus plus. So here we will write I mod J equal to 0. Then if this condition will be true, if J is a factor of I, then C will be updated. Then this if block will be closed, inner loop will be closed. When inner loop will be closed, then I will check for this C. If C equal to 2, I will print the value of I. Means when this C will be 2, it means that particular value of I is a prime number. If it is a prime number, I am just printing it as it is. So it is very important step, this one. Very important. Otherwise, if you will write these lines of code all, if you will skip writing this line, your program output will be wrong. Because when you will not reset this variable to 0, for the next value C will be start updating from a 2, which will be wrong. So it is very important step to